Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to give you the July 2023 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Capricorn, Sun, and Rising placements. We are in Cancer season. It is the opposite side of you, Capricorn. Cancer is the opposite sign to your sign, cardinal earth, cardinal water. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments. How do you feel? How does Cancer season make you feel? I know a lot of Cancer dominant people who have Capricorn in their charts in a big way, and then vice versa. I know a lot of Capricorn Sun people that have Cancer either as like rising or moon placement. So I just always kind of curious about other people that maybe have less, how you feel during the opposing season. I know, like for me, Aquarius is the opposite of me. And I used to get really bad seasonal depression during Aquarius season. I mean, it's winter, so it's not that weird, but I feel like once I learned how to integrate more Aquarian energy in a positive way, my seasonal depression got better. So yeah, I don't know. I'm always curious about those polarities when they're happening. So let me know. So we start out July with a pretty fun aspect going on in the sky, but it might not be fun for all of us. I'm not sure how it feels for Capricorn since I'm not a Capricorn, but you can like I said, you can let me know, but I'm gonna guess how it might feel. So this aspect that we have going on today, starting July out, is called a cazimi, and the sun is conjunct Mercury in the sign of Cancer. And Juno is also kind of hanging out in the mix over here, and Juno is the asteroid that represents marriage. So sun, wherever it's transiting, brings like awareness, energy, vitality, and then Mercury's communication, information, or perceptions, and then Juno is the asteroid for marriage. So, you know, contractual marriage and connection, things like that. And the area that this is hitting for Capricorn is the area that has to do with partnerships, relationships, romantic partnership, dating, also business partnership and best friends. And so on this day in particular, you might be feeling a very big desire to connect with your partner or with best friends or loved ones in any kind of way. If you're single, you might be more feeling like dating, you know, being on the dating apps with Mercury here might be something that you feel more prone to want to do, or, you know, have some of those connections. But either way, our hearts are longing for connection on an emotional level. And what also is required of us is having more soft, sensitive, compassionate communication with loved ones as well. And that's a big Mercury and Cancer theme for this area of the chart. And Cancer here is very empathic and sensitive to the feelings of others. And so while Capricorn can sometimes come off a little cold or rigid, when Cancer is highlighting here, it's kind of pulling you more into these empathy centers and kind of needing to be softer and more kind or sensitive to, you know, the people in your life that you care about. So that's very elevated at the beginning of July. What's also happening at the beginning of July is we have Venus and Mars in Leo, and they're also conjunct Pallas Athena and Lilith. And so we have a stellium happening in Leo. And the area that that's hitting for the Capricorn horoscope is the area that represents marriage, shared resources like financial assets that we share with a marital partner or with somebody else that we cohabitate with, and also family. It could be family inheritance, things like that. It's also the area of the chart that has to do with sex, death, and rebirth. When Mars and Venus are passing through here, our libido might get a kick. We might desire more physical or sexual attention from a partner. Financial kind of things come up for us as well. Do we need to refinance something? Do we need to take out a loan? Do we need to pay off some debt? You know, do we need to disperse funds in some way? How is our investments doing? You know, those types of things are a big theme. Also our relationship to deep personal transformation, and then how we're also connecting with a partner, a romantic partner, is also highlighted. And Leo, you know, really loves to have that passion, that heart connection. It wants to have fun. It wants to play. And so you might also feel kind of this need or this desire for more lighthearted, playful energy when it comes to your partnerships or your sexual relationship, that kind of stuff as well. There might be a lot of desire for attention from, you know, like I said, a partner, but also if we're single, you know, if you're not married or partnered, you might be really wanting to date or really wanting to get more attention from people in that way, in a romantic way or a sexual way. That's definitely highlighted. The sun is also making a harmonious aspect to Jupiter at the start of July. And so the area that that's hitting for Capricorn, since Jupiter is in Taurus, this is the area that has to do with creative expression. And so if you're feeling like you have a lot of creative energy accessible to you, the sun is definitely enhancing that. It's also really good energy for creating with a partner. So that could be a best friend, business partner, romantic partner, but doing something fun, playful, and creative is very supported. All of those themes are super dominant for the Capricorn horoscope starting out July. We also, at the beginning of July on the 3rd, have a full moon in your sign of Capricorn. And this is hitting at 11 degrees of Capricorn. And it's in the area of the horoscope that has to do with the identity and the relationship to self. Full moons are all about manifesting things that we want into our lives or releasing energy that we no longer want. We can do both during a full moon, but having the sun and moon in this axis of partnership and relationship and then identity and sense of self, that's the theme. Who are we to ourselves? Who are we in our relationships? Who do we want to be? What do we want to manifest out of our relationships with others and with ourselves? And then is there energy that we want to release or let go of when it comes to ourselves or our relationship with others? For the single person, you might be in a position where you want to manifest more of a relationship with somebody else, or maybe you're not interested in dating and maybe you're trying to work on being more self-sufficient and more okay, even when you desire that connection, being more okay without it. You could also be in a situation where maybe you're getting out of a relationship and you're wanting to release the attachments to that other person. And maybe it's really hard. Maybe you're still attached to them. You're still working out the shared resources part. Maybe you're still in deep communication about the separation. And maybe this full moon is a great time for you to kind of start setting intentions towards the energy that needs to shift in order to make all of those things happen. That's a big theme, really, is communication around that kind of stuff. So big theme for Capricorn for sure. On the 10th, Mercury is going to be moving out of Cancer and moving into Leo. So again, a lot of communication around the themes that we talked about with the Leo energy. So sex, death, rebirth, shared resources, assets, marriage, those themes. And so again, whatever version of that that's relevant in your life, you're going to be communicating a lot about. On that same day, Mars is going to be leaving Leo with Pallas Athena and moving into Virgo. And this is the area of the chart that represents our belief systems, our values, belief systems when it comes to like religion, spirituality, also the way that we perceive the world and how we learn about the world, that's enhanced. And we might be feeling really restless and like we want to expand our knowledge, expand our awareness, get out of town, go experience something else, maybe take an educational course to grow or expand in some way. And so Mars here, we might be shifting a lot of the way that we've thought about things previously, and we might be kind of it's the seeker energy here where we're seeking some new wisdom or some new truth. I actually have Mars natally in Placidus, in the Placidus house system. My natal Mars is in this same placement. And I do attribute it to my need to be involved in things like astrology and kind of have more of an active role spiritually in my life and have a structure with it. Having a spiritual structure is really beneficial to me often. On the 17th, we have kind of our next big transit. We've got a new moon happening at 24 degrees of Cancer. This is in the relationship area for Capricorn. So this is a really good time to set intentions for what you want to cultivate in your personal relationships and romantic relationships. So setting intentions around how you want to give in relationships and also how you express your needs. It's in Cancer. So Cancer is all about nurturing and giving and receiving and communicating needs, in that way. When it's in this placement of the relationship house. On the 17th, we also have the lunar nodes moving out of Taurus and Scorpio officially and making their way into Aries and Libra. And the area of the Capricorn chart where this is hitting is the home and the work life. So life-work balance becomes a big theme with the nodes here, and also your home and family life. And so there might be a big emphasis on needing to focus on family and home with the nodes here over the next year and a half, and maybe spending more time at home and less time being as career oriented. But life-work balance is a theme. Once we get out of that energy, we're going to segue into Leo season on the 23rd. And so the sun is going to be moving into that area again that we've already been talking about, that has to do with shared resources, assets, marriage, sex, death, rebirth, and all of that stuff gets highlighted. And Venus will still be here. And Venus is also going to be stationing retrograde on the day that we enter Leo season. And so, you know, we might look at it a little bit like trouble in paradise, you know, like maybe we're needing to work on things in a relationship with a marital partner or a romantic partner. Finances around assets and shared resources are also a huge theme. If there's any legal kind of legality stuff, especially if it comes to like purchasing an asset or selling an asset, that's also there. And there might be discrepancies. So this is a really important time over the next, like pretty much from the 23rd of July until the middle of September. Every single document or thing that you're a part of legally, you need to read the fine print and do as much sleuthing as you possibly can, because we're going to have Mercury stationing retrograde at the end of August, but we're already having Venus retrograde starting on July 23rd. And then Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto are all retrograde. And so we're going to be in this very intense retrograde bubble for the rest of the summer. And because it's hitting in these areas that have a lot to do with legal assets, shared resources, contractual things, there's a lot of opportunity for conflict and discrepancies and oversight. So you really, you know, I mean, you're Capricorn, you're good at like looking at those things. So it's important that you kind of lean into your Capricorn tendencies and be very diligent and discerning and systematic about it. If you're somebody that's going through, you know, a legal issue during this, like that's really important during this time for sure. After the 23rd, a few days later, we're going to have Mars in Virgo making a harmonious aspect to Jupiter, a trine. And this is a really positive time for finding a way to get out of the mundane and do something creative and fun for yourself, but that also might be productive. So if you're, you know, Virgo energy is very productive. It's very much like, I've got this task list and I got to get it done and I got to do it in the most time efficient way. And then you have Jupiter here that wants you to have fun and be creative and passionate. So there might be kind of this balance where you're doing something that feeds your soul and is productive, but also helps break you out and have, you know, has you feeling more joy around it as well. And it's earth energy. So earth likes earth, you know, you're an earth sign. And so all this earth energy is really positive for you in terms of kind of giving you more of that sense of moving towards the goals or the things that you're trying to accomplish in the material, in the physical. Let's see what else is there. Mercury is going to be entering the Virgo party with Mars and Pallas Athena on the 28th. And so Mercury is going to be leaving Leo, where it's been, where the shared assets, resources, you know, all that stuff. And it's going to be moving into the area that has to do with values, belief systems, spirituality, long distance travel. And so again, we might be feeling kind of this need to get out, explore, learn something new. You know, if you want to sign up for another educational program, I say a educational program in general, that's really supported during this time. Just expanding your knowledge is really supported while Mercury is in Virgo. But, you know, be aware Mercury will be stationing retrograde here. So you might have a change of heart, you know, you might have a shift in perspective. Your values might be kind of going through a little bit of a review process where you're not really sure if the way that you saw things before is the way that you're really deciding that you feel confident about that, you know, now. And that's okay. Like, shift in perspective is obviously okay. We don't have to keep the same ideals forever, which can be hard for Capricorn. Capricorn as an archetype on its own, I'm not saying all Capricorn people feel this way, but Capricorn as an archetype on its own really enjoys tradition, reliable facts, science, you know, things, not necessarily science in like the progressive way, but in terms of what has been tried and true for so long. And one of the things that's hard about a lot of Capricorn energy is if you hold on too tight to the way it's been done or what's already been figured out, there sometimes can be a missed opportunity in seeing what else is there or what hasn't been figured out, right? And sometimes Capricorn has to learn how to let go of the facts and look at the in-between parts that there are no facts, you know? And so the area that Mercury and Mars is going to be in is more about exploration and asking questions. You know, a good scientist asks questions and is skeptical even about things that are supposedly true or fact-based, because most things are not as fixed or as like what's true for one person scientifically in terms of how let's use eating food, for example. Like there's some people that eat a certain way and the way that it breaks down in the body is really good for them. They get all their nutrition the way that they need. They don't have a stomach ache. They digest it, and that's great, you know? And then there's people like me who might eat the exact same thing and I have a horrible reaction to it, even though in theory I shouldn't, you know? And that's because I have a completely different makeup. I'm a completely different genetic disposition, and, you know, people are not fixed. Like we're all very different people. And so the way the chemistry breaks down in our bodies, while we all have the same mechanisms, there's so many nuances to why we all can't just act the same way or eat the same way and have the same results. And so I think that there's a lot about life that's like that, and a lot about, you know, our approach to things, that while there's certain things that are tried and true and proven, there's also other things that are tried and true and proven that are equally as valuable. And so sometimes it's beneficial for Capricorn to go, oh, in the past, this tried and true way that has proven over and over again to work, or maybe somebody else it works for, it's really not working right now. So why don't I start sleuthing, asking questions, and being more open to seeing things and how they can be done in this other way if I want to grow and evolve and expand in these ways. And I think Capricorn's really good at that too. I know a lot of very successful Capricorn people that are very good at that aspect of life, because it's nuanced. You know, not every Capricorn is rigid, but Capricorn can sometimes hold on to linear thinking or tradition in a way that sometimes closes them off to bigger picture stuff. So that's something to kind of keep in mind while you're being supported to break out of rigidity or linear thinking and think more in this kind of broader, expanded way, because that's what Mars and Mercury are doing for Capricorn in July. All right, let me know in the comments what you think of that and how it resonates for you. I will be curious to hear. Nobody really ever comments, but you know, I invite it. And if you liked this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you didn't like it, no worries. there's plenty of other videos out there that I'm sure you might resonate with, done by somebody else. And I look forward to seeing those of you that stick around next month. Have a good July.